Other countries are going to finally, after 75 years, pay us back for all that we've done for the world. We were at 21%, but that's being generous because many things are 50, 60, 70, and 80% higher. We have millions of people pouring into our country from prisons and jails, from mental institutions and insane asylums. They are taking over the towns. They're taking over buildings. They're going in violently. They're dangerous. They're at the highest level of criminality. Number one, I have nothing to do, as you know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025. We did a phenomenal job with the pandemic, like run, spot, run.
Do you believe Americans can afford higher prices because of tariffs?
They're not going to have higher prices. What's going to have, and who's going to have higher prices, is China and all of the countries that have been ripping us off for years. I was the only president ever. China was paying us hundreds of billions of dollars, and so were other countries. The polls say 80 and 85 and even 90% that the Trump economy was great, that their economy was terrible. She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. They're criminals. Many of these people coming in are criminals. They have abortion in the 9th month. The baby will be born, and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby. But her vice presidential pick says abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay. Every legal scholar, every Democrat, every Republican, liberal, conservative, they all wanted this issue to be brought back to the states where the people could vote. We've gotten what everybody wanted. Democrats, Republicans, and everybody else. And every legal scholar wanted it to be brought back into the states. And the states are voting. And they've wanted it back in the states. And I did something that nobody thought was possible. But the fact is that for years, they wanted to get it out of Congress and out of the federal government. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics. We're a failing nation. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is
the people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So, but the people are on television saying their dog was eaten by the people that went there. They allowed criminals, many, many millions of criminals. They allowed terrorists. They allowed common street criminals. They allowed people to come in, drug dealers, to come into our country. And they're now in the United States and told by their countries like Venezuela, don't ever come back or we're going to kill you. Do you know that crime in Venezuela and crime in countries all over the world is way down? You know why? Because they've taken their criminals off the street and they've given them to her to put into our country. And all over the world, crime is down all over the world except here. Crime here is up and through the roof. Despite their fraudulent statements that they made, crime in this country is through the roof.
As you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country.
I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy. Wait a minute. I'm talking now. If you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar? Criminals that killed people, that burned down Minneapolis. Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison. They'll go back to destroying our country, and peacefully and patriotically, I said during my speech, not later on. Peacefully and patriotically. This group of people that have been treated so badly, I ask, what about all the people that are pouring into our country and killing people? What about those people? What are they going to be prosecuted? And crime rates are down all over the world because of it. When are the people that burned down Minneapolis going to be prosecuted? Or in Seattle? They went into Seattle. They took over a big percentage of the city of Seattle. When are those people going to be prosecuted? I had nothing to do with that other than they asked me to make a speech. I showed up for a speech. I said, I think it's going to be big. I wasn't responsible on Charlottesville. That story has been, as you would say, debunked. Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, Jesse, all of these people.
Are you now acknowledging that you lost in 2020?
No, I don't acknowledge that at all.
But
I
you
said
did
that
say
sarcastically.
That.
You know that. There's so much proof. All you have to do is look at it. Our elections are bad. And a lot of these illegal immigrants coming in, they're trying to get them to vote. They can't even speak English. They don't even know what country they're in practically. And these people are trying to get them to vote. If you look at the facts, and I'd love to have you'll do a special on it. I'll show you Georgia, and I'll show you Wisconsin, and I'll show you Pennsylvania, and I'll show you. We have so many facts and statistics. We have a nation in decline. We have a nation that is dying, David. Viktor Orban, one of the most respected men, they call him a strong man. He's a tough person, smart. Prime Minister of Hungary. They said, why is the whole world blowing up? 3 years ago, it wasn't. Why is it blowing up? He said, because you need Trump back as president. Viktor Orban said it. He said the most respected, most feared person is Donald Trump. If she's president, I believe that Israel will not exist within 2 years from now because the whole place is going to get blown up. Arabs, Jewish people, Israel will be gone. And I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended. If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president. 168 different countries sending people into our country. Their crime rates are way down. They paid billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars when I said, either you pay up or we're not going to protect you anymore. I will get it settled before I even become president. If I win, our country has gone to hell.
Do you believe it's in the U.S. best interest for Ukraine to win this war, yes or no?
I think it's the U.S. best interest to get this war finished and just get it done. You know, he's got a thing that other people don't have. He's got nuclear weapons. They don't ever talk about that. He's got nuclear weapons. Nobody ever thinks about that. Trump did the most amazing thing I've ever seen. He got these countries, the 28 countries at the time, to pay up. He said, I've never seen. He's the head of NATO. He said, I've never seen. For years, we were paying almost all of NATO. We were being ripped off by European nations. I got them to pay up by saying one of the statements you made before, if you don't pay, we're not going to protect you. The top people, and they're very good people. I have a lot of good people in that administration. We read about the bad ones. We had some real bad ones, too, and so do they. They have really bad ones. The difference is they don't get rid of them.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan. We're a failing nation. We're a nation that's in serious decline. We're being laughed at all over the world. We're not a leader. And maybe toughest of all is allowing millions of people to come into our country. Many of them are criminals.